Right, we are meeting with again with another important topic, that is internal control. We have already completed the auditing flow discussion under the BL5 webinar series. So now we have come to the last part of the webinar series, that is internal control. So if you look at the internal controls, how that comes in your syllabus. So internal controls, so my today's sessions will cover theory and practical application as well. So if you look at the BL5 syllabus structure, there are, as I have been discussing with you, there are 5 areas, and in that 5 areas, basically we have completed the D and part D and E section in a in-depth analysis and in-depth discussions I made during last about 9 webinars. So today I am going to discuss under the part A, introduction to corporate governance, risk and control, business process and internal controls. Out of that 2 section, around 35% weightage. So I am going to touch, or I am going to discuss 2 important areas which will be useful for your examination. So basically, if you look at your chapter contents, so you have about 15 chapters as we have been discussing. So today my discussion will be basically internal controls will come under the 2 sections. Part A, introduction to corporate governance, risk and controls 10%, and business process and internal control 25%, right. So out of which the theoretical aspect of internal controls comes under the part A, introduction to corporate governance, risk and control 10%, the second chapter, chapter number 2, and then business process and internal controls mean this is the practical application of internal control. So I will be discussing with you in a summary. So all these 6 chapters, sales management, the procurement cycle, payroll management, cash management, property, plant and equipment management and inventory management. So as you are aware, so we have already completed part D and E in depth. So that means I hope that with the coverage of these 2 sections also will help you to have a substantial portion of the understanding on the substantial portion of the syllabus, which will help end of the day for your examination. Right. So if you look at the internal control discussion in your BL5 syllabus, basically there are 2 so there is a mistake here, so this number 2 should go away. So internal controls, there are 2 sides, one is theory, internal controls theory side, and internal control practical application. So it's a mistake that number 2 has come here. So internal controls theory is number 1 and internal controls practical application number 2, right. So if you see, internal controls theoretical side is discussed under the chapter number 2, and internal control practical application is discussed under the chapter number 3 to 8. That means altogether 6 chapters: sales, procurement, payroll, cash, PP and inventory. So that goes in chapter 3 to 8. So during this webinar as well as the next webinar, so I will be focusing on this inventory internal controls, which talks about, which discuss about, so which contains in your syllabus basically into 25 into 10, so around 30 marks or a 30%, so will come under this internal control section. So therefore you need to have the understanding of internal control theory as well as internal control practical application, right. If you look at the type of question that would come in your examination, as I told you in the previous webinars, the question will be either direct theory question, direct theoretical question or a practical questions. This is one of the question that I extracted from revision kit, question number 2.4. With respect to the achievement of the company's objectives, the internal control system should provide absolute assurance, reasonable assurance, no assurance because internal control is nothing to do with achieving objectives, negative assurance because positive assurance is not a realistic objective. So this is a one type of question that could come in your examination. This is a direct theory question. So very simple question. With respect to the achievement of the company's objectives, the internal control system should provide. It's a direct question. So we'll discuss those questions at the end of the webinar. And this is a bit of practical question. This is a practical application. Second part of the internal control. This I extracted from the mock paper question number 32. There can be bad debts when making sales on credit terms. Which of the following would be an appropriate control measure that a business can implement to address the above risk? Evaluation of the credit worthiness of customers, signing a sales contract with the buyer, creation of customers in the database by a person outside the sales department, sending monthly statement to the customers and getting the balance confirmed, right? So, this type of practical application question generally not that difficult. So, remember this internal control chapter or the section in your examination, generally it is not difficult if you have a proper understanding toward to the basic concept and how that basic concepts are applied in a practical circumstances. Is not difficult like auditing flow. So, this anybody can understand if you have a proper knack on proper flow on these theoretical angles, theoretical matters or theoretical concepts, right. So, then right, so this is a direct theory question, this is a practical question. So, both the combination of the question could be expected in your examination, right. So, let us start the discussion. The first video I am going to focus on the theoretical side of internal control. This is not only for BL5 students, this is important for CL1. Not only that, even until you become a chartered accountant or after you becoming a chartered accountant also, this fundamentals that we are going to learn today is going to be important. So, therefore, get away from all other works and concentrate on this video properly and try to put the foundations properly into your mind and into your mind and set the foundation. It will help to get through the examination as well as see improve your knowledge as well. So, okay, internal controls. What is, look at this, I have given two pictures. Forget about the definition. I have given two pictures, but what you could see, there are two pictures. One is fingerprint machine. If you are a working person in an organization, you could see always, now most of the companies they have a fingerprint machines, right. Now, if you come to our office, now generally if you put the fingerprint machine only, the door will open, right. The second example, second picture that you could see here, the down, that is everybody, all of you have gone to Food City, Kales or maybe Apico, maybe Laugh or any other supermarket you might have gone. When you go to the supermarket, you could see when you can select any of the item that you want and you come to the cashier will put the barcode, and then so after you put in the barcode, that she will enter the details and then the quantities and then accordingly. So this is like a little bit operational activities. Now, looking at these pictures, think about what is the internal control, right. So, now look at the board, internal controls. So, what is really meant by internal controls? So, forget about all these theoretical concepts, all these big words, forget all that. Just think in a very simple way, what is meant by internal controls? Now, I am in the CA Sri Lanka building, this is second floor. Now, when I came into this premises today, the security was there near the gate and asked me, where are you going? I told that I am going for the webinars, and then so then the gate was open, right. Then I entered. I parked my car in the car park, and one security person came, checked the temperature, and then I came into the. Then somebody came in and opened the door because today is Sunday. And then I came to the second floor. You see, that is when I can't come into the CA Sri Lanka premises in a free hand as I wish. There are some barriers, there are some controls in this journey, in this coming to the CA Sri Lanka. Now, just I'm taking 5 minutes little in a very slow manner. Now, you might have gone to, let's say, to No Limit or House of Fashion, Fashion Buck or CIB or any other shopping complex or a shopping centers to buy clothes. When you go there, just imagine you can't take in your bags, you have to keep in a with the security, and you can select any of the items in the location, but to see CCTV cameras are on, there is a board in the side, CCTV cameras in operation, CCTV is in operation. Then you, when you get this any, let's say, shirt, have you seen that when you get that shirt and when you come to the cashier, so cashier put something like there is a magnitude item, so they put like this and remove something, have you seen? What is that? Right. And then when you come to the cashier, cashier will put the barcode and the total will be appearing, and then they will put it to a bag and they will give it to you, so then you can come out. Let's say now you think that you should not, you want to take a one item, you are getting a two item, you are paying for one item and other item you put it to your pocket and you try to go out. Can you? You can go, but when you go out from the door, just look at the next time, there is a two panels. Just see. So when you go with that magnitude item from the, it is without it is being removed, you can't remove. So automatically alarm will come. So that indicate that it is a control. It is a control which is designed by the management to avoid frauds or errors in the business organization, right? Or otherwise avoid the losses to the business organization. Right. So similarly, if you go to your business organization where you are working, in your working organization, when you get into the premises, the security will be there, fingerprint machine will be there. Now there are a lot of organization, when you go into the door, so door has a camera, so camera will recognize your face and accordingly, so door will open. If you are a recognized person already set in the program, the door will open, otherwise door will not be open, right. So all these are, what is that? All these are controls. If you go to the bank, see, if you go to the bank, if you want to withdraw money from your passbook, what happens? You fill the deposit slips, withdrawal slips, and you sign and you give it the bank passbook, and the cashier will check you all the details, and cashier will specially check your signature, right. What is that? It is also a control. If you go to the ATM machine, if you want to get the money, you have to enter the password. That is also control. Not only that, if you try to open, now let's say, tell me this, how you have gone enough number of time to the ATM machine. ATM machine එකේ දොර තියෙන්නේ push or pull. තල්ලු කරන්නද අදින්නද තියෙන්නේ. කවදාකවත් ඔක බලලා තියෙනවද? Right, I am not going to tell now. Whenever next time when you go to the ATM machine එකට ගියාම ඔය දොර තියෙන්නේ push කරන්නද pull කරන්නද කියලා හොඳට බලන්න. ඒකත් එක හේතුවක් නිසා තමයි එහෙම තියෙන්නේ. ඒ හේතුවත් ඇවිල්ලා internal controls. Right. So likewise I can tell you 1000 example. So that is regarding a business organization. If you look at as a country, if you try to enter into if someone outside, if foreigner or someone who is living in the out of country, if they want to come into Sri Lanka, so in the airport or a fort, in the airport especially, how difficult to come. There are a lot of controls, immigration, there are a lot of controls. So why all these controls are there? Because of a reason. The reason is called control objective. So I told you now many example So similarly, if you go to now, some of you are university students. So when you go to the university, from the you have the ID card, you have to go there. You have to show to the security, but then you have to go inside, and lot of controls are even at university. So even at your home, the night time your door is closed at the home. It is also a control, right? So if you look at in this world, there are so much of controls attached in our life, but the fundamentals here, we are not going to learn all the controls of this controls in this world, but we are going to learn the controls which are applicable in the business organization, out of which controls which are important for the preparation of financial statements. So that is what our role. So why I told all these examples for you to just to have understanding what is meant by internal control, right? And at the time of starting this chapter, I must say that this internal control is not that something you are going to learn new. This is something you have already learned from O-level commerce, if you have done the O-level commerce, or if you have not done the O-level but you have done the A-level commerce. Starting from the A-level accounting subject, business studies subject or economic subject, everywhere we have learned these controls. Now I tell you one example. We learned at A-level the bank reconciliation should be prepared. බැංකු සසඳුම් ප්‍රකාශනය හදන්න ඕනේ කියලා අපි ඉගෙන ගත්තා. ඊට පස්සේ අපි කිව්වා ව්‍යාපාරයට භාණ්ඩ ලැබෙනවා නම් ඒ ලැබෙන වෙලාවෙදී GRN එකක් දාන්න ඕනේ කියලා. A good received note should be raised at the time of goods are received by the company or by the business organization. So but at that time we learned there is such a thing, but today we are learning that is what? That is an internal control. That is an internal control. So the difference is that you have already learned all these concepts that we are going to discuss today and the next webinar. This webinar and the next webinar. But the difference is that now we are going to learn that as an internal control which will be useful for the auditing aspect. Right? So that is the difference. Right. So now we discuss the background of internal control. So but just look at here the theoretical side of internal control. So you know shareholders are generally owners of the business, but they don't have a time in doing the business, so they have appointed people called those charged with governance, right? Otherwise we can say the management, right, of ABC Private Limited. Shareholders have appointed an agent called those charged with governance to run the business organization of ABC Private Limited, and end of the day give the return to the shareholders, and end of the day shareholders wants to know what happened to my money. So what happened to my money, and also those charged with governance should communicate to the shareholders what happened to your money. That communication methodology, that communication mechanism is called as the financial statement, which we discussed even during previous webinars. So shareholders are appointing those charged with governance to run the business organization and give the benefit for them, give the return for them. So that is what we call simply the stewardship concept or agency concept in terms of, or a business entity concept, like shareholders, owners, ව්‍යාපාරය සහ අයිතිකරුවන් යනු පාර්ශවයන් දෙදෙනෙකුයි නැත්නම් නීතිමය වශයෙන් පුද්ගලයන් දෙදෙනෙකු කියන එක. Right? So this is the concept. So they want to know what happened to what is happening to their business. That communication mechanism comes under the financial statement. If you look at this financial statement, in this financial statements are prepared by the management. These finance statements are not just coming, the finance statement coming through a process. දැන් මේ accounts කියන එක නැත්නම් අපි කියන මේ final accounts කියන එක හැදෙන විදිහ ගැන හොඳ අවබෝධයක් ඔයාලට තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Final accounts හැදෙන්නේ කොහොමද? The finance statements are basically right. So these finance statements are derived from what? From the trial balance, that you know. From the trial balance only finance statements are derived. And this trial balance is derived from ledgers, that also you know, right. And these ledgers are derived from what? These ledgers are derived from primary books. Right. These primary books are derived from what? Source documents, that you are aware. Source document, මූලාශ්‍ර ලියවිලි. මේ මූලාශ්‍ර ලියවිලි අපි මතුවෙන්නේ මොන වගේද? Transactions and event. So you need to have a proper understanding. This shareholders have appointed management to those charged with governance to conduct the business activities and give the end of the day return to them. By giving that return at the end of the financial period, the shareholders wants to know what happened to their money. So in that case, the management is communicating that into the shareholders in way of finance statement. The finance statement is a double entry system. So this is originated. This is not that just landed from somewhere. This is originated through a process which we have learned in a basic accounting. So in a business organization, there are transactions and events that are taken place. Sale කියන්නේ transaction එකක්, right? Factory building ගිනි ගන්නවන එක කියන්නේ event එකක්, right? Purchase කියන්නේ transaction එකක්, right? So similarly, lot of transactions are events that are happening in the business organizations are recorded through the source document. Source document. Those source documents are recorded in a primary books, example cash book. Those primary books are captured into the ledgers, into the double entry system, and those ledgers are translated into the trial balance under the to debit and credit, and then that trial balance is converted into the finance statement reporting format, which will be user friendly or reader friendly at the shareholders end. So end of the day, what the shareholders are going to know, these transactions and events. The shareholders are going to know these transactions and events. Right. So now why I came to this point, this is not that I want to explain the accounting. So now these transactions and event happening in a happening in the business organization, right? Happening in the business organization should have a process, right? Should have a process. Right, I'll link to here, right. So now these transactions and events that are happening in the business organization should go through a process. The process mean what? ක්‍රියාවලියක් තුලින් යන්න ඕනේ. දැන් මට ව්‍යාපාරයේ විකුණුම් කරනවා නම් ඒ විකුණුම් ගමන් කරන්න ඕනේ ක්‍රමවේදයක් තියෙනවා. එක් කස්ටමර් එනවා, PO එකක් දානවා, GDN එකක් දානවා, ඉන්වොයිස් එක දානවා, ගේට් පාස් එකක් දානවා, යම් ක්‍රියාවලියක් තියෙනවා. ඒ ක්‍රියාවලියක් තුලින් ගියොත් තමයි මේ එන රිසල්ට් එක, මේ ට්‍රාන්සැක්ෂන්ස් or event එක හරියට රෙකෝඩ් වෙන්නේ. ඒක නැත්තම් ඒකේ වංචාවක් සිදු නොවි පවතින්නේ. So therefore you need to have a clear process in terms of this conducting transactions and events in the business organization. That process is called as internal control. Right. I would say rather process, it could be like mechanism, right? It could be like a mechanism. So now these transactions and events should be controlled. This transaction and event should be sent through a framework. These transactions and events should occur under the control environment, under the control situation. that is called internal control, right? So now I am coming to the definition of internal control. What is the definition of internal control? So definition of internal control is that this management and those charged with governance, management and those charged with governance, they have designed and implemented a mechanism to the business organization. This management and those charged with governance, they have designed and implemented a mechanism to the business organization in achieving three objectives. Right. So this process is designed by management or those charged with governance, right? This process is designed by the management in achieving three objectives. The management or those charged with governance, they have designed a mechanism in environment of transactions and events of the business organization in achieving three objectives. So those three objectives are these three you have to remember for the examination: enhancing reliability of financial reporting, enhancing efficiency of business operation, number 3, compliance with laws and regulations, right? What is that? Now definition of internal control. Now you should have a proper understanding. I just draw you the flow. So you need to have proper understanding into this. What is internal control? So internal control means the system, mechanism designed and implemented by the management and those charged with governance in achieving three objectives. Number 1, enhancing the reliability of financial reporting, enhancing the efficiency of the business operation, compliance with the laws and regulation. In order to achieve these three objectives, the management or those charged with governance, they have designed a system mechanism called internal control. I hope that you are clear. Again, I am quickly summarizing. Shareholders appointing management or those charged with governance to run the business organization and report to the shareholders. In reporting the shareholders, finance statement is one of the key items. These finance statements are derived from the trial balance is derived from the ledgers derived from the primary books derived from the source documents derived from the transactions and event. That means normal business environment, the normal day-to-day operation of the business, so that are taken place regularly or continuously, right? So in these transactions and events happening, the management can't just leave that is to happen as it happens. So management has objective. What is the management main objective? To enhance the wealth of the shareholders. In enhancing the wealth of the shareholders, the management should control the transactions and event. For that, management has designed and implemented a mechanism called internal control. That why that has been designed in achieving three objectives. Number 1, enhancing reliability of financial reporting, enhancing efficiency of business operation and compliance with the laws and regulation. In order to achieve these three objectives, management or those charged with governance has designed and implemented a mechanism. That mechanism is called internal control. So I hope that you are clear with the basic definition of internal controls. So now, if you look at as far as the business organizations are concerned, let's take one example. Let's take one example. Let's say cash or a bank payments. So this is a cash or bank payments is a transaction that is taking place in the business organization. It is a transaction that is taking place in the business organization. In this transaction, what happens? You are making the payment through the check payment or a fund transfers or whatever, and those payments are recorded in the cash book, right? Recorded in the cash book, right? And just recorded, transactions happen, just recorded, but no control at all. Now, in order to ensure that this cash book recorded transactions are correct, there is a control called preparation of bank reconciliation. So at the end of the month, this cash book is compared with the bank statement. This cash book is compared with the bank statement, that is called preparation of bank reconciliation statement, to ensure that there are no omission or errors in the cash book. All these transactions that are recorded in the books of accounts are reflected in the bank statement. So this preparation of bank reconciliation is an internal control in achieving. Preparation of bank reconciliation statement is an internal control achieving one of the objectives of their main objective is enhancing the reliability of financial reporting. So another example. So in your business organization, you can see CCTV, right? The CCTVs are there. Why? When the CCTVs are there, the people can't engage in the fraudulent activities, as well as the leaders or the heads of the organizations or divisions could see what's happening in each and every business premises. That will enhance the efficiency of the business operation. That will enhance the reliability of financial reporting. Not only that, that will enhance the compliance with laws and regulation, especially being a quality check, something like that. So therefore, all these internal controls that are available in the business organization will achieve one of these objectives, all three objectives, right? So that you have to remember. Now, the practical application of internal control, don't think too much, because every day or even at C other subject, even at business level 1, even at the A level, even at if you have followed the other courses like AAT, everywhere you have learned these controls. Preparation of bank reconciliation, raising a GRN, raising GDN, payment voucher, fixed asset register, right, payroll, all these you have learned. MRN, maximum stock level, minimum stock level, buffer stock, අවමතක මට්ටම, පරිමතක මට්ටම, EOQ formula ඔක්කොම අපි දන්නවනේ දැන් costing වල. මේ ඔක්කොම මොනවාද? මේ ඔක්කොම ඇවිල්ලා කම්පැනි එකේ දෙන internal controls. අපි අතීතයේදී අපි කලින් ඉගෙන ගන්නකොට මේක internal control කියලා ඉගෙන ගත්තේ නැහැ. අපි මෙහෙම දෙයක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ, මෙහෙම process එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා ඉගෙන ගත්තාට මේක internal control එකක් විදිහට ඉගෙන ගත්තේ නැහැ. right? දැන් වෙනස මොකද්ද? ඒ ඉගෙන ගත්ත දේවල් හැම එකක්ම අපි දැන් internal control කියන විදිහට redefine කරනවා. Right? All these are internal controls. So I hope that you are clear with this basic explanation. So one more thing I want to tell you, when I talk about these processes in every business organization, there are a lot of processes like sales, procurement, cash, PP, inventory. For each and every section there is a process. But if you look at like a multinational company, there are about 150 processes. But for most of the business organization in this world, there are main processes which are common. Those processes will have to be discussed under the practical application of internal control. So that we'll discuss at that time, but just to remember, so all these processes will be there in business organization. Number 1, would see cash, property, plant and equipment, sales, procurement के लिए क्या है purchase करने का, right? Procurement, payroll and inventory, right? All this 6 process. So this 6 process, cash, PP, sales, procurement, payroll, inventory. So this process are common for most of the business organization. So therefore, why in your BL5 subject, why we are learning all this? Because one day when you are going for training or one day when you become a chartered accountant, so your role is to, one of your role is to the setting up the internal controls and implementing the internal controls. So which are not only relevant to the financial preparation of finance statements, but sometimes it goes beyond that. So in such circumstances, you have to have a proper understanding of all these processes and prevailing or a best practice internal controls of all these processes. But when you go for the working place, in your working place, now after we discussed or after you learn this internal control, you will go and challenge to your accountant and say that, look here, I have learned in the class this control, but that is not there. Why is that? So it depends on the business organization, just remember that, right? But these are good practices to be done, but every time will not be practical. But if it can be done always, your results are more accurate. If these proper internal controls are there, your results that are coming in the finance statements are more accurate. Alright? Right. So that is the basic introduction to the theory. Now first part, what we will do, if you get the proper picture of this internal control definition, now I am going to discuss with you your theoretical chapter number 2 of your syllabus, and I am going to summarize that chapter number 2 to make you understand a theoretical aspect, right? So if you have the study text, please get the study text as well, chapter number 2. So this is the theoretical chapter discussion, chapter number 2, key important things. Chapter 2. So if you go to this chapter, so these are the key things available. Objectives of internal control. So as I have told you several times, each and every chapter, so you need to have a mind mapping like this. It's easy for you to remember theoretical concerns. So objectives of internal control, basically you know that I have already discussed with you. So there are 3 objectives of internal controls that you should remember. Number 1, enhancing reliability of finance statement, enhancing efficiency of business operation, right. Third one, compliance with laws and regulations. So now third one, you will think, okay, there are 3 objectives of the internal controls: enhancing the reliability of financial reporting, enhancing the efficiency of business operation, compliance with the laws and regulation. First one, enhancing the reliability of financial reporting, you will understand. Why? What is the purpose of having a GRN? To ensure that all the goods receipts are accounted. If that is not there, there will be errors or fraud that will reduce the reliability of financial reporting. So that you understand. Enhancing the efficiency of business operation. When there are proper internal control, business activities will be more fast and it will be more customer friendly, right? When there is a CCTV camera, If something is, you can look at what's happening in the press flow. If there is a problem, you can interfere into the situation or interfere into the issue and correct that. So that is efficiency of business operation. And the next one, compliance with the laws and regulations. You see, now for that I will give you an example. Quality. So now, you know, the garment factories and all, right, so many people are doing this garment activities. නැත්නම් අපි ගත්තොත් කමිසයක් ගත්තොත් අපි ෂර්ට් එකක් ගත්තොත් ඒ ෂර්ට් එක ඔක්කොම කරලා කෑලි කෑලි මහලා එකතු කරලා අන්තිමට එනවා. ඔය හැම ෂර්ට් 10ක් යනකොට 10න් හැම එක ෂර්ට් එකක්ම සමහර ෆැක්ටරිස් වල quality check එකක් කරනවා. It is a control. Why it is there? It's basically to compliance with the laws and regulations sometime. I'm just taking an example. Let's say there is a law that so this shirt should be on this condition. So then that can be ensured only through a quality check. Let's say something food item. So that food item say maximum melanin or maximum sugar can be this, maximum sugar can be there only up to this much of gram. That is a law requirement. So that law requirement can be achieved or can be ensured only through putting a control of quality checking. Every one item of the after now 1 out of 10, 1 out of 100. So I could remember in one of my auditing some time back, they are basically into manufacturing of the plastic chairs. So what I could see there, there are every 100 one chair. කියන්නේ හැම පුටු 100ක්ම හදලා ඊළඟ 101 වෙනි පුටුව ලොකු උස තනක් තියෙනවා. උඩ අරන් ගිහිල්ලා කණුවක් උඩට මීටර 100ක් වගේ උඩට අරන් ගිහිල්ලා බිමට අතාරිනවා. හරි. ඒ පුටුර මොකුත් වෙන්න බෑ. උනොත් that entire 100 is rejected. Right? What is that? It is a quality checking. End of the day, it will comply, it will ensure compliance to the laws and regulations as well. For example, another example that I have told you at the class, the previous webinar, car. What is meant by car? So car means capital adequacy ratio. ව්‍යවස්ථාපිත සංචිත අනුපාතය සෑම බැංකුවක්ම මූල්‍ය සමාගමක්ම බලපත්‍රලාභී බැංකුවක්ම බලපත්‍රලාභී වාණිජ්‍ය බැංකුවක්ම මහා බැංකුවේ පවත්වාගෙන යන්න ඕන අවම තැන්පතු ප්‍රමාණයක් තිබෙනවා. ඒ අවම තැන්පතු ප්‍රමාණයක් තබාගෙන යන්න කියලා කියන requirement එක අපි කියනවා 5 to 10%, some just let's say 10%. So this has to be maintained. So if this is not complied, the central bank will cancel your license. Central bank will cancel your license, not immediately, but they will take some action and they may cancel the license. So then somebody should ensure that this is complied in regularly, every 3 months, 2 months, 1 year, or a quarterly basis, biannual basis. So somebody must ensure. So then you have to put a compliance officer into this and to verify this, to ensure that this is been happen or this is been complied. Right? So then the compliance officer coming and checking the car capital adequacy ratio in every quarter is an internal control which ensure compliance with the laws and regulations. I hope that you are clear. So now hereafter at the examination, this is a highly possible question. Objectives of internal controls, don't forget, tell me the close the eyes, close as වහගෙන මගෙත් එක්ක දැන් කියවන මොකද්ද අරමුණු තුන. පළවෙනි එක, enhancing the reliability of financial reporting, enhancing the efficiency of business operation, compliance with the laws and regulation. In order to achieve these 3 objectives, the management, those charged with governance, have designed and implemented a mechanism. That mechanism is called internal controls. Right. So you are very much clear about that. So now I am coming to the most important one in this discussion, that is elements of internal control. This is the most important, highly testable at the examination. Highly testable. Highly testable. So elements of an internal controls. So look at this presentation. You see there is a box given. Elements of an internal control system. Control environment, risk assessment, control activities, information and communication monitoring activities. There is something called 2013 Committee of Sponsoring Organization of the Tradeway Commission, COSO, right, used by permission. And there is another side, entity level, division, operation unit, function, and top you can see operation, reporting, compliance. You will not understand anything end of the day. Right, මේක කියවෙන්නේ මෙහෙම දෙයක්. ඕනම ඕගනයිසේෂන් එකක මේ තියෙන ඉන්ටර්නල් කන්ට්‍රෝල් සිස්ටම් එක, මේ කම්පැනි එකේ තියෙන ඉන්ටර්නල් කන්ට්‍රෝල් සිස්ටම් එක ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා සංකල්ප පහක්. එහෙම නැත්නම් මූලධර්ම පහක්. මේ ඉන්ටර්නල් කන්ට්‍රෝල් පද්ධතිය හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ අණු කොටස් පහකින් කියන එකයි කියන්නේ. ඉන්ටර්නල් කන්ට්‍රෝල් කියන එක ඇවිල්ලා එක සිස්ටම්, ඉන්ටර්කනෙක්ටඩ් සිස්ටම් එකක්. සේල්ස්, පර්චේස්, ප්‍රොකියුමන්ට් මේ හැම එකක්ම ඉන්ටර්කනෙක්ටඩ්. ඒ ඉන්ටර්කනෙක්ටඩ් සිස්ටම් එක හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ අණු කොටස් පහකින්. Those are called components of internal controls. So internal controls. So which elements of an internal control you could say. So this has been defined by COSO. Don't forget this one, COSO, right? So COSO mean Committee of Sponsoring Organization of the Tradeway Commission. So that you don't have to remember the long name, but COSO only has given this definition. Right. So according to this COSO framework, any business organization, so internal controls comprise 5 elements. This of course no doubt you have to remember number 1, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So this is the important one, control environment, risk assessment, number 2, risk assessment, and number 3, communication, number 4, control activities, and number 5, monitoring. Right. So now in internal control system of a business organization has 5 elements, control environment, risk assessment, communication, control activities and monitoring. Don't forget, again tell with me, control environment, risk assessment, communication, control activities and monitoring. What those things? So control environment is a little bit a difficult concept. That generally most of the students won't understand. It's a little high-end concept. Even at corporate level subject, this discussion is there in heavily. So even last time the CL1 paper, the December 2020 online paper, there was a very good question from control environment. I am sure that most of the students didn't answer properly, because most of them have not put their proper foundation at the BL5 level, business level 5 subject, and they don't understand the logic behind the control environments. So just try to understand. I am going to tell you in a very simple way. Control environment mean what? මේක තේරුම් කරන්න මම පොඩි උදාහරණයක් ගන්න. මේ ඔක්කොම අමතක කරලා මේ theoretical level අමතක කරලා මෙහෙම හිතන්නකෝ. මේ හිතන්නද මට වෙච්ච සිදුවීමක් මම මේ කියන්නේ. About 2 to 3 years back I went to, මේ උදාහරණය මම මේක කියන්නේ මේක පැහැදිලි කරන්න. 2 to 3 years back, maybe 3 to 4 years back, I can't exactly remember. I went to the CIB නුගේගොඩ. හරි. The CIB නුගේගොඩට ගියාට පස්සේ මම දැක්කා, මම ඇතුළට ගිහිල්ලා, I don't know whether it is now there, because I'm telling about sometime back story. When I went there, so I saw at the entrance also there were some boards, and then inside I went to the second or third floor at that time, and so there were දැන් මේ floor එකේ අපි ඇවිදගෙන යනකොට මෙහෙම එක board ගහලා තියෙන සමහර ලාවට CCTV in operation කියලා තියෙනවා. ඒකේ ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙවෙයිනේ. හරි. ඊට පස්සේ මෙම බාල්ක කියන්නේ මේ බිල්ඩින් එකේ උඩ තියෙන බාල්කවල මේ පැත්තෙන් දෙපැත්තෙන් එක එකව ලියලා තියෙනවා. Right. Some positive thinking, some type of motivational words. ඊට පස්සේ මම දැක්කාද මම ඇවිල්ලා පොලිමේ ඉන්නකොට මේ බඩු සිලැක් කරලා සල්ලි ගෙවන්න ඉන්නකොට මම දැක්ක එක තැනක මෙහෙම ඉන්නකොට පේනවා මේ පොලිමේ ඉන්නකොට තේරෙනවා සොරකම් කිරීමේ ආධිනව. Right. So when I see that itself, what happened? Now if somebody is in a queue to do some cheating and get certain things, let's say one person, he has taken he has selected 5 items to be purchased, but what he has decided 4 items to be built and 1 item to be kept in the pocket and take it out. Now when he sees that board, okay, I should not get something belongs to someone else. It is a religious, every religious talks about that. So it's a religious reminder comes to everyone that I should not cheat to this company. I should not do that. That comes to your mind. So it's a control. It's a control of the business organization. It's a different level of control. It is not that operational controls by forcefully controlling that, but it's you are changing your mind and controlling on that. And why I told you that example, so that example shows the leader of that particular business or a leader of that particular business, how that particular business owner wants to run the business organization. He has a different way of communicating ethical practices. Right? So it indicates that the high-end management, the top management is ethical. I gave you that example. So another one example I can tell you, there is a very good business leader in this country. I am not going to tell the name. So he used to tell in a lot of discussion, lot of speeches that, right, if someone in finance divisions, in someone in the accounting profession in my companies, accountants in my profession, accountants in my business, if they cheat or if they do even a 1 rupee fraud, I will take them out immediately. Right. What the leaders thinking towards the business, what the leader thinks regarding the financial reporting. Right. Some leaders are there, they think that my business should be properly controlled, but I will do only ethical businesses. I will not do unethical business. I will not pay any single bribe to anyone. So why I am telling all these examples, this is a difficult concept to understand. So control environment is not easy to understand. So control environment mean how leaders think towards to the business or a leader's attitude towards the business. I know you won't understand anything. So let's say, let's take our country. So in our country, let's say president, prime minister or the cabinet ministers and then other ministers, and let's say this ministry, the ministry secretary and any other governing body, let's say they are really transparent and they really want to develop this country and they really want to practice the ethical dealings with the people as well as the other countries, let's say, then what would happen? Even at the down the line, people are not ethical. Since the leaders are ethical and the leaders want to have the ethical practices or leaders want to have a control environment, what happened? Automatically things will get correct. Similarly, the control environment mean which is the how the top people are thinking of the business, how top people look at the business, how top people want to have this business. Understand, a bit difficult to understand, try to understand. So control environment is mean the leaders of the business organization, how they think about my business should be, their attitude towards to the ethical practices of the business, and their corporate culture at the higher level culture. All these are called control environments. Control environment. So that means අර යමක් පාලනය කරන්න උත්සාහ දැන් පාලනය කරනකොට උඩ ඉන්න අයගේ ඉස්සර මානසික මට්ටම නැත්නම් මනස හොඳ වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ උඩ ඉන්න අයගේ මානසික මට්ටම නැත්නම් උඩ ඉන්න අයගේ පරිසරය තමයි අපි කියන්නේ control environment කියලා. පල්ලෙහා ලෙවල් එකේ control implement කරන්න design කරන්නේ උඩින්නේ. ඒතර උඩ ඉන්න අයගේ පරිසරය හොඳ වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ උඩ ඉන්න අයගේ පරිසරය හොඳ වෙන්න පල්ලෙහාට තියෙන implementation නැත්නම් designing possibility එක probability එක වැඩි වෙනවා. Right? I hope that you are clear. So that control environment is mean that leaders attitude or a practices or toward to the business organization. Right? So now this control environment has lot of sub elements like for examples, if the control environment is so sound, always business leaders they try to enhance the knowledge of the people. ඒ කට්ටිය හරියට බිස්නස් කරන ethical practices කරන කට්ටිය නම් හොඳ control environment එකක් හදා ගන්නවා නම් ඒ කට්ටිය හැම වෙලාවෙම commitment to competence ඒ කියන්නේ සුදුසු පුද්ගලයාට සුදුසු තැන ලබා දෙනවා. knowledge එකට තැන දෙනවා. knowledge එක වැඩි කරන්න වැඩ කටයුතු කරනවා. commitment to competence. And also that organization will have a proper organization structure. That organization will have a proper HR policies. Right? That organization will always communicate the ethical they will communicate the ethical practices, enforce the ethical practices of business organization. Right? So if I write few example here for the control environment example, one is HR policies. Let's say another one organization structure. Another one say commitment to competence. Right? And enforcement of ethical practices. Likewise, I can tell you many, but for your examination purpose, at least remember one or two. So the control environment means it's a little bit high-end concept. That is at the leaders level. So that environment should be good to have in the down the line implementation of internal control. Example is there should be proper organization structure. There should be proper HR policies. Those people, top people should be ready to accept the knowledge of other people and to recognize their qualification and give the responsibilities accordingly, and always enhance the knowledge of them. So that is called commitment to competence and the enforcement of ethical practices. Right? So that is number one, control environment. Number two, risk assessment. What is that risk assessment? This is control environment. Risk assessment mean what? Number two, the risk assessment mean every business organization they face risk in their day-to-day operation. Let's say these days if it is a vehicle importing company, these days they can't import the vehicle. It is a business risk that they faced. Right? And these days due to COVID-19, some of the companies, especially the hotel sector, so tourists are not coming into Sri Lanka. That is a business risk that they face. Right? And similarly, these airline businesses. So airline businesses now they can't operate as usual, because there are no people who are traveling like previously. So in such circumstances, it is the risk that they are going to face. Right? So, and let's say another example. I will take one example of your common example. Let's say Manchi, CBL. So they are in the food industry. So in case in their food, if something goes wrong, and if something happened to the people, let's say one chemical has wrongly put by the one employee, and what would happen next day? Next day, it's going to be disaster, and that the action will be taken by the government, and lot of things will take place, and finally end of the day people will not buy the Manchi biscuit, and then company finished. So that is again risk. So therefore, every business organization is facing a business risk as always. Always they face the risk. So there is no time limit, or there is no, I would say now, take a what happened to the last COVID season, in April season. Generally all these shopping complex or shopping centers, they import and they buy a lot of clothes, but due to the COVID fear, nobody went to those shopping centers in the last April season time. But finally it is a real loss for them, because those designs now cannot be sold, or a certain clothes cannot be kept for 1 year. So that means all these are business risks. When you run a business, there are a lot of risks that the companies have to face. So just because of having a risk, right, so we can't stop doing the business activities, because always, risk and return has the, when the risk is high, always return also high. So that is a general concept. So therefore always business organization needs to manage the risk, not only just keep in the risk, they want to manage the risk. So how the risk should be managed? Always you have to first identify the risk. That identifying the risk called risk assessment. Don't get mixed now this risk assessment and the auditor's risk assessment. The auditor's risk assessment is auditors trying to identify the problematic areas in the financial statement. So this risk assessment means the business organization try to identify the risk that the company is going to face. Word is same, but the place that is applied and where that is applied is different. Alright, I hope that you are clear. So the risk assessment plays a significant role in the business organization. Third one, communication. This is also a very much important one. So you can have any number of control on the business organization, but if you don't communicate to the expected user, this is how what's going to happen, then it is not going to be worked out, right? So that means now when you go to you have a camera or of CCTV, but of course there should be a board in somewhere, CCTV in operation. So there is a door, it is to be pull, but there is no pull or push. It is happening. No, then සමහර අය වෙලා ඇතිනේ. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේ දොර වහන්න මේ තල්ලු කරන්නද අදින්නද කියලා ගිහලා කල්පනා කරනවා. අදිනවද තල්ලු කරනවද කියලා. දොරක් කියලා කන්ට්‍රෝල් එකක් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි වහන්න තල්ලු කරන්නද කියලා දන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි ඔකේ බෝඩ් එකක් තිබ්බොත් කොහොමද? ලේසියිනේ. Communication. You can have any number of control of the business organization, but that shall be communicated properly. So through the information and communication is another important element, so that you can just read in the study text the communication, right? And then the next one is the important one, that is control activities. So control activities is one of the crucial item, because control activities mean how that control is implemented. Now let's say example, sometime in a food city, අපි පොඩි සිල්ලර කඩයකට ගියොත් එහෙම කඩේ මුදලාලිම තමයි බඩු කිරන්නේ, කඩේ මුදලාලිම තමයි බඩු පැක් කරන්නේ, කඩේ මුදලාලිම තමයි ඒක මළු වලට දාලා අතට ගෙනත් දෙන්නේ, කඩේ මුදලාලිම තමයි බිල දාන්නේ, කඩේ මුදලාලිම තමයි සල්ලි ගන්නෙ, කඩේ මුදලාලිම තමයි ඉතුරු සල්ලි ටික දෙන්නේ. One man show. But if you go to the food city or a food city or another supermarket, there nobody is to give you the foods or select items. So you can go and select and you can put it to a pack, and then you can come into cashier, and the cashier will give you the bill and cashier will collect the money. But while you are in the supermarket, there are some assistants. You can get their assistant, but can you pay to them? මම දැන් සීනි කිලෝ එකක් ගන්නවා. සීනි කිලෝ එකක් කරා රුපියල් 180ක් මම දෙනවා එතන වැඩ කරන එක්කනට. මට සීනි කිලෝ එකක් අරන් එළියට එන්න පුළුවන්ද? Can I? Cannot. Now you see, there is a one-man show in the normal shop, 3 or 4 people to do that work at a supermarket. What is most effective? What is most effective and most accurate results will be given? Of course, when everything does by a one person, it could go wrong. Chances of wrongdoing, chances for errors, chances for fraud are very much higher. Right? But if the work is divided among 2-3 people, then of course, when the work is divided among 2-3 people, so that of course will give you a proper outcome in terms of the finance statement as well as the business operation. Now let's say දැන් අපි හිතන්නකො කම්පැනි එක ඔයාම නම් කම්පැනි කැෂියර් එකේ ඉන්නේ ඔයාම නම් බිල් දෙන්නේ ඔයාම නම් සල්ලි ගන්න සල්ලි එකතු කරන්නේ ඔයාම නම් බැංකුවට ගිහිල්ලා දාන්නේ ඔයාම නම් කෑෂ් බුක් එක ලියන්නේ ඔයාමනේ ඔක්කොම කරන්නේ. ඒතර ඔයාටම ඕන නම් මේ process එකම වෙනස් කරලා සල්ලි ටිකක් සාක්කුවට දාගෙන ඉතුරු ටිකට දාලා documents හදලා ඔක්කොම ටික කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඔයා කරන්නේ බිල් දාන එක විතරයි නම් සුරාජ් නම් සල්ලි ගන්නෙ, තව එක්කෙනෙක් නම් බැංකු පොතේ ලියන්නේ, තව කෙනෙක් නම් බැංකුවට යන්නේ. එමනම් මේ හතර දෙනාම එකතු වෙන්න වෙනවා වංචාවක් කරන්න. right? හැබැයි මේ තනි පුද්ගලයෙක් විසින් මේ සියලු කාර්යයන් ඉටු කරොත් එහෙම ඒකේ තියෙන අවදානම තමයි ඒකෙන් අනිවාර්යෙන්ම වංචාවක් වෙන්න තියෙන probability වැඩි. That is why in most of the business organization says that this is important. Segregation of duties. Vada bedima. So that means the duties are divided among many of few employees. The tasks are separated into few or many staff. Right? So that always gives a real result or a real benefit to the business organization. So therefore, take a A4 paper. Please write this word segregation of duties. Make a liyanna koleka liyala ඔය පාඩම් කරන තැන අලවලා තියාගන්න. Segregation of duties. Why it has to be kept? Because when you are reading the questions at the practical scenario based question at the examination, always look at this is a key weakness or a key weakness of internal control if this is not there. Right? So this is that much of important. Segregation of duties is a crucial control activity. This is a control activity. This is a control activity. So what is meant by control activity? Control activity means how the control is implemented. For example, control objective is implemented through an activity that is called control activity. Example, segregation of duties. දැන් අපි කියන payment voucher එකක් දානකොට payment voucher එක අස්සම් කරන්න ඕන කියලා කවුරු හරි. ඒතර payment voucher එක අස්සම් කරන එක නැත්තම් approval කියන එක control activity එකක්. අපි කියනවා ලක්ෂ 10කට වඩා check ලක්ෂ 10කට වැඩි වටිනාකමක් යුතු check අස්සම් කරන්න ඕන directors හදෙන්නෙක් කියලා. Right? It's a high level authority. That is a control activity. Right? And you say the bank in order to identify the cash book mistake or a bank statement errors, unaccounted transaction in the bank statement, bank reconciliation must be performed. The bank reconciliation is what? Reconciliation is a control activity. Right? So accordingly, the segregation of duties, approval, reconciliation, right? All these are control activities. What is meant by control activities? Control activity means how the control is implemented in order to achieve the objective. Right, the last one. So here this control activities, so you note down and keep, this is important one. Example, segregation of duties. segregation of duties. This is an important one. And the last one is a monitoring. So the monitoring mean what? So always this, whether these internal controls are happening or not, that must be monitored. Control environment should be monitored, risk assessment, communication, inter-control activities, all these should be monitored basically. So the monitoring part is done by the those charged with governance. Basically those charged with governance is as appointed a specific person to do this monitoring part, so that person is called internal auditor. Generally, so internal auditor. Right. So as far as your examinations are concerned, mostly this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements are very much important. Those will be tested to examination. So be careful on that. Right. So the number 3. Right. Number 3. Type of internal controls. So this is a classification of internal controls. So in your study text, this has been classified into a different level, different situation or a different aspects. So one aspect is right. So this one classification is right. Preventive, we call preventive controls, detective controls and corrective controls, right. Another classification is operational, financial and compliance, right. Another classification is manual and information technology, right. So look here, so this is a classification, those are given in the study text. This is especially not from the course of framework or anywhere, but this is mainly for your understanding. These internal controls can be classified into many angles. Many classification can be done. One classification is, we are dividing this control into preventive control, detective control and corrective control. These are important as far as the external auditors are also concerned. Preventive, detective, corrective, what is that? Preventive, වළක්වා ගැනීමේ පාලනයන්, අනාවරණය කර ගැනීමේ පාලනයන්, නිවැරදි කිරීමේ පාලනයන්. Preventive, වළක්වා ගැනීමේ පාලනයන්. So that control objective is to prevent the error of fraud. Prevent, right? Before it happens itself, it is prevented. Example is password. This example is a password. Password is a preventive control. So that means if someone unauthorized person is trying to access into the system, that is blocked through the password. So it's a preventive control. Detective control. So detective control means the incident had taken place. But after the incident had taken place, so through our control, it is highlighted. It is shown or it is highlighted, right. So best example is a bank reconciliation. So bank reconciliation is not something that we do in advance. That means මාස ඉවර වෙන්න කලින් bank රැක් එක කරන්න බෑනේ. ඒ දවස හරි ඉවර වෙලා ඉන්න බෑ bank රැක් එක කරන්න. It is not preventive, but it is detective. If something has gone wrong, it will be detected. It is detective. And third thing, it's corrective. So corrective means incident had taken place, rather than it is highlighting. It's highlighting also okay. Now the මෙතන මෙහෙමනේ මේක detective වුණාට already damage is done නේ. වැරදක් වෙලා නම් ඒක වෙලා. But corrective means it's automatically corrected, not only preventing, not only detecting, but it is correcting. if the incident had taken place, it will be corrected. Good example is a backup. Right? In a computer, if the electricity doesn't, if the electricity is not there, if the machine gets off, immediately what will happen? Sometime auto saved or automatic backup will be taken in the computers, right? So automatic backup is it's a corrective control for unexpected incident, right? So therefore controls can be classified preventive, detective and corrective as well, right? Then the next one, operational, financial and compliance controls. So you know operational example is CCTV. This CCTV is a good example for that. Operational control. Financial control, you can take anything. Let's say the GRN, raise in GRN, raise in GDN, raise in PR, raise in MRN, this bin card, all these are financial controls. So the compliance control, so good example is quality check. So these are examples, right? So if you look at the manual controls and the IT control classification, IT controls we will be discussing separately. IT controls I will be discussing in the next video on information technology control, which are important for your examination. So will be taken up separately. But manual and IT control mean what? Certain things you are doing through the now bank reconciliation is done through the manual. You get a cash book and you get the bank statement and you cross check using your pen. That is a manual control. But there are sophisticated accounting system as of now. What happens there? So they are basically the bank reconciliation is done through the computer system itself, right? So therefore that is a manual and IT control, but I don't want to waste too much of time. This is a classification given in the study text. I hope that you can easily understand towards that, right? So now I have been continuously talking now more than 1 hour, 1.5 hours. So you might be now little boring also. Auditing කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ කවුරුත් ආස කරන මාර ලේසි මාර ලස්සන එහෙමනේ අපි එහෙම නැහැ අපිට ගොඩක් අයට auditing කිව්වම අයියෝ ඔඩිට්ද කියලා තමයි අහන්නේ. ඒ වුණාට මේ සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක එහෙම නැහැ. මේ සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක I would say one day when you become a chartered accountant, now today you won't understand. But one day when you become a chartered accountant, when you go to BMICH for and that day, that දවස මතක් කරගන්නකො දැන් BMICH එකට යන දවස BMICH එකට යනවා එදාට දැන් මෙතන ඉඳන් BMICH එක පේනවා මේ second floor එකේ ඉන්නේ CH ශ්‍රී ලංකා අතන පේනවා. So that day you are a different character. So that is your ultimate dream that you have been struggling to get through, and finally you have completed your examination, and there will be a day that you go to the BMICH convocation එකට ගිහිල්ලා අර දිග ලෝගුවක් දාලා රතු පාට මේකක් දාලා රතු පාට ලොකු CH ශ්‍රී ලංකා දාලා ලස්සන ෆොටෝ එකක් එහෙම අරන් ගෙදර අයවත් ඔක්කොම එකතු කරන් අවිල්ලා. That is unbelievable memory. That is what you want to do. හැබැයි එහෙම හිතේ තියාගෙන ඉඳලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. You have to work harder. It is not easy. කවුරුවත් මේක වෙන්දේසියක තිබේ මේ බන්දේසි මොකක් හරි තියලා මේක මේ ගෙනල්ලා දෙන්නේ නැහැ. You have to earn that. It's not easy. So there are many students who are registered in CA, but only finally that dream is achieved by only not maybe less than 500 per year. So but is it not possible to do? No, that it is possible to do. So some students think that I don't know whether I can do this thing because I don't know, my English is not good, so I don't have a financial strength to to do that. But don't think those things. English can be corrected. Do little. If you can learn, if you can get through the A level, if you can get through the O level, why you can't improve the English? It can be done. It is only it is that only you want to have a willingness to do. වමනාවක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ කරන්න, right? And Then you will think about the financial constraints. The financial constraints mainly, sometimes you can get the scholarship from CA Sri Lanka or other institution, or otherwise you can go for an audit firm training or another non-audit organization and get some remuneration, and accordingly you can get some financial support towards that. So what I want to tell you this boring time, don't give up. So do little bit hard works in achieving that, right? Third one, fourth one we are coming, number 4. Limitations. So this internal control, we discussed the objectives, elements, type of internal control and basic introduction. So the limitation of internal control. So even though whatever the controls you are putting in this business organization, whatever controls that you have put in achieving the business objectives, but due to various reasons you cannot achieve what you have planned. Due to various reasons you cannot achieve what you have planned. So those are called limitation. Remember that the internal control, by implementing a control in the business organization, the management can take only a reasonable assurance. Remember that. Control එකක් දැම්මයි කියලා 100% ඒ වංචාව හරි වැරද්ද හරි වළක්වා ගන්නවත් අනාවරණය කර ගන්නවත් නිවැරදි කර ගන්න බෑ. By implementing an internal control, you cannot 100% prevent, detect and correct fraud or errors in the business organization. But by implementing a control, you can get a reasonable assurance on preventing, detecting and correcting errors and the fraud of the business organization. Remember that. So therefore, by performing or by implementing an internal control, a 100% assurance cannot be taken in the business organization. So therefore, why it cannot be done? Why that 100% is not achievable? Because of the limitation. Those limitations are, few limitations are, number 1, right, collusion. What is that? Collusion. The collusion mean, දැන් හිතන්නකෝ මේ collusion එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ දැන් අපි සල්ලි කැෂියර් එකේ එක්කෙනෙක් තියලා තියෙනවා, ඉන්වොයිස් දාන්න තව එක්කෙනෙක් තියලා තියෙනවා, තව එක්කෙනෙක් තියලා තියෙනවා බැංක් බුක් එක ලියන්න, තව එක්කෙනෙක් තියෙනවා සල්ලි බැංකුවට ගිහින් දාන්න. 4 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඔය 4 දෙනාගේම වැඩ කටයුතු ටික එක්කෙනෙක් කරා නම් වංචාවක් වෙන්න තියෙන probability වැඩි. අපි ඒක නිසා 4 දෙනෙක්ට මේක බෙදලා තියෙනවා. හැබැයි 4 දෙනෙක්ට බෙදුවයි කියලා ඒකෙන් 100% වංචාව වලක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඇයි? ඔය 4 දෙනා එකතු වෙලා ගේම් එකක් දුන්නොත්. That is called collusion. We call in Sinhala දුස්සන්ධානය. Collusion. The collusion mean what? The people or the people who are in charge of controlling that mechanism also getting into the fraud activity. So which in turns finally your control objective is not achieved and the control is failed. Right? So therefore, when there are collusion situation, of course the business organization cannot achieve their intended objective through the internal controls. Right? And number 2, human errors. You know, whatever you do, we are humans, can make mistakes. So we are humans, can make mistakes. So accordingly, whatever the controls you are putting, that you cannot achieve the 100% result. 100% of expectation cannot be achieved because of human errors. Other one, number 3, right? Cost benefit analysis. What is that? Cost benefit analysis. Now let's say the previous example that I show you, that I told you at the shopping, at the supermarket and a nearby grocery center of nearby your home. A grocery center එකේ මුදලාලි තමයි ඔක්කොම කරන්නේ. හැබැයි food city ඒ ටිකම කරන්න 4-5 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. right? එතකොට මුදලාලිම කරන්නේ අයියේ එතන ඒ මුදලාලිම කරන්නේ cost එකක්. දැන් මුදලාලි තව එක්කෙනෙක් ගත්තොත් cost එකක්. ඒතර control එකක් දානවා කියලා කියන්නේ control එක වැඩි කරනවා කියන්නේ හැම වෙලාවෙම cost එකක්. When you are putting more and more control, cost is going up. So this has to be balanced. Sometimes when you go into the cost is increasing, intended benefit will come down, right? So therefore, business organization always, when they enhance the internal control, good to have all the control, but at what cost? The always cost also going up. So this has to be balanced. So therefore, most of the organization, they stop at certain levels. They stop at certain level and decide, okay, I am not going to take up the further cost in achieving the internal control, but I will stop from there and let it happen anything. So therefore, business organization is limited with the cost benefit analysis. And number 4, right. So this internal, let's say, management override of control. Management override of controls. What is management override of control? So management override of control mean, so now management is responsible in designing and implementing internal control, but management is bypassing the control. Let's say in a business organization, the CEO has implemented a system to the finance division, says that without a payment voucher is raised, without a payment voucher is approved, and don't make any payment to any person in the business organization, right? Suddenly, one of the friend of CEO comes to collect some payment, and then the account executive says, look here, that our CEO has implemented a system. We cannot make the payment unless this payment voucher is raised and that is been approved by responsible parties. Suddenly, then that person gives a cause to CEO, say that the story. The CEO gives a cause to that lady, say, so that particular account executive say, no, look here, that you make the payment, so I will look after if something goes wrong. What happened now? The management has implemented a control. At the same time, management has override the control. Management override of control. So management should not override the control. If the management override the control, mean what? End of the day, your intended control objective is not achieved. Clear? Right. Another limitation I can see, number 5, is internal controls are focused on routine transactions. So that means most of the internal controls are focused on routine transactions. So again, අපි එදිනෙදා සිදුවෙන ගණදෙනු සම්බන්ධයෙන් පමණයි මේ internal controls ගොඩක් companies දාලා තියෙන්නේ. හැබැයි අසාමාන්‍යයෙන් සිදුවෙන ගණදෙනු සම්බන්ධයෙන් internal controls හරියට දාලා නැහැ. එහෙම දාන්න බෑ. predict කරන්නත් බෑ. ඒක නිසා මේකත් අවිලා limitation එකක් වෙනවා. The management may not focus non-routine transactions in designing and implementing internal controls. So therefore, if such a non-routine transaction occurs, there would not be adequate controls in the business organization in achieving the intended control objective. Right? Right. Another, number 6 I can say, right, operational risk always change. So that means most of the business organization forgets that the operational risk gets changed time to time. So operational risk of the business organization gets changed time to time, that whatever you plan, the internal control may not be able to achieve the intended purpose. So now all these 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 I gave you here, that is from the study text. So this 6 is basically tells that why a business organization cannot achieve the 100% result or 100% benefit or 100% avoidance of fraud and errors by implementing an internal control. Right? Again, I am telling, by implementing an internal control, a business organization can get only a reasonable assurance. Reasonable assurance. Right? Okay. So I am coming to the last now, number 5. Number 5, responsibility. So I don't have a space to write in this side, I have to take it to this side, right? Responsibility. So this, remember, this responsibility towards the internal control is divided into three parties. This responsibility of internal controls towards the internal control of the business organization. Number one is, would say, shareholders, will say board of directors, will say the management, will say the auditor, right? So remember that this is a highly testable question at the examination. Who is responsible? Who is responsible and designing and implementing internal control of the business organization? Who is responsible? Remember that. Is it a shareholder responsibility? Remember that no, shareholders have nothing to deal with internal controls. The shareholders are just expecting the financial statement and the audit report, that's it. So therefore, shareholder doesn't have any dealing with the internal controls. Then, what is the role of board of directors? This is highly testable. So remember, board of directors are the people who are appointed by the shareholders to run the business organization. So therefore, the board of directors are the people who have ultimate responsibility of internal control. So final responsibility, අවසාන වගකීම, අභ්‍යන්තර පාලනයන් සම්බන්ධයෙන් අවසාන වගකීම අධ්‍යක්ෂ මණ්ඩලය නැත්නම් those charged with governance පාලන භාරකාරීත්වය යන පාර්ශවයන් සතු වේ. Board of directors are responsible, they have ultimate responsibility in achieving the objective. So that called ultimate responsibility. Ultimate responsibility. Right. So then next one, what is the management responsibility? The management responsibility is something different because management is reporting to the board of directors. So management has the responsibility to report to the board of directors and design and implement the internal controls. So in business organization, the primary responsibility of designing and implementing internal controls lies with the management. But it is not the ultimate responsibility, it is primary responsibility. So therefore, the management is responsible to design and implement, not only design and implement internal controls and report to board of directors, right. So management is responsible to design and implement internal control and report to board of directors. Then the last one is that audit. With regard to the auditors, what is the responsibility? So there are two types of auditors can be seen in the business organization. It could be either internal auditor, it could be either external auditor. This, remember, this is a highly testable area for examination. So if it is internal auditor, what is the responsibility? Remember that internal auditor is appointed by the board of directors, who is reporting to the board of directors or the audit committee. Audit committee is an oversight committee of the financial function of the company. So audit committee, internal auditor is reported to the audit committee and the board of directors directly, so not to the CEO or not to the management. So therefore, internal auditor's duty is to monitor. The internal auditor doesn't have a direct responsibility to design or implement internal control. Number one, internal auditor does not have a direct responsibility to design and implement internal control. But internal auditor will check whether adequate internal controls have been designed and implemented. It's a monitoring part. After incidents have taken place, later the internal auditor in a sample basis, according to their risk assessment, they will check whether adequate internal controls are designed and implemented and will report to the shareholders, not to the shareholders, sorry, to the board of directors and the audit committee accordingly, right. That then we are coming to the external auditor. Remember that external auditor does not have any direct responsibility or any responsibility in designing and implementing internal control. What is their role? Are they responsible to check the internal controls and report to the board of directors? No. But external auditors will use the internal controls of the business organization in doing the audit. External auditor may or may not, that is external auditor to decide. External auditor may or may not check the internal control, but not to report or not to give a value addition to anybody. Now internal auditor check those internal control, give a value addition to those charged with governance, but external auditor may or may not check. That is up to the external auditor to decide, right? And they don't have a responsibility to reporting to the shareholders or the board of directors with regard to the effectiveness of internal control. But when the external audit is conducted, if the auditor comes to know certain deficiencies, certain weakness, significant weakness, auditor may communicate to the management, auditor may communicate to those charged with governance for their improvement, but that is not a duty. So auditor may communicate. If the auditor comes to know, auditor may communicate. If the auditor doesn't come to know, can't communicate. Right. So that is the responsibility. This look at the study text carefully. So this is highly testable. I am summarizing again. Shareholders nothing to do with the internal control. Board of directors have the ultimate responsibility in designing and implementing. Management is the primary responsibility in designing and implementing and reporting to the board of directors. Auditors, internal auditor does not have a direct responsibility, but internal auditor will check the internal control implementation and then will report to the management and the board of directors accordingly, and that is also based on sample basis. And the external auditor does not have any direct responsibility in terms of internal control designing and implementing, but external auditor will use the internal control in their external auditing journey. So while those are being used, if the external auditor comes to know any significant deficiency, the external auditor will communicate to the management for their further improvement. So that's all about the theoretical discussion of internal control. So we discussed the objectives of internal control, element of internal control, type of internal control, limitation and the responsibility. So these are the all items of the theoretical aspect of the, right. So I am just going for a quickly for a one question. This is I gave you at the beginning of the presentation. Revision quick question. With respect to the achievement of the company's objectives, the internal control system should provide. With respect to the achievement of the company's objectives, the internal control system should provide. Very simple question. Internal control system should provide absolute assurance, reasonable assurance, no assurance, negative assurance, right. So that I have very clearly told you that what is the answer, right. So reasonable assurance. So now, okay, so that is the end of the theoretical discussion. So next video I will be moving to the practical application. So with the practical application, I will be taking up all these questions to be discussed, not only one, even now this is theory and the practical both are interconnected. So therefore next webinar I will be taking up with you the many questions to be discussed on this particular section. So before end of the webinar, I will just take you through the website, this study text for 1 to 2 minutes. If you see chapter number 2, right. So in this chapter number 2, internal control. So there you can see, so these are the theoretical things they are in the chapter contents. So these are the things in the chapter contents. Definition of internal control we discuss, the element of an internal control system we discuss, internal controls, financial, operational and compliance control we discuss, preventive, detective and corrective controls we discuss, control procedures and control activities, control procedures, control activities, and internal control risks we discuss. Risk mean, internal control risk mean and the limitation mean both are same. Information and communication internal control, information and processing control, IT control will be discussed in the next webinar. Monitoring an internal control system, limitation of an internal control system, governance and risk. Number 12 talks about the responsibility what I discussed in this last item of the discussion, right. So I just want to show you one thing here. All these we have discussed now. There is a concept called control procedures which we discussed. So you see, this is what I told you, segregation of duties are very much important. Segregation of duties, you have to just read the study text part also, because this is important. Because segregation of duties is a very important concept in a practical as well as theoretical application. Right. So this I want to tell you. So this is under information and communication internal control we call whistleblowing. So whistleblowing mean what? So this is something අපි කියන්නේ whistle එකක් ගන්නවා වගේ ඒ වගේ. දැන් කම්පැනි එකක දෙන්නෙක් අපි දමුකෝ කම්පැනි එකේ දෙතුන් දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා නම් තුන් දෙනෙක් විතර හතර දෙනෙක් විතර එක ළඟ වැඩ කරනවා නම් එහා පැත්ත ටේබල් එකේ ඉන්න එක්කනා බ්‍රයිබ් එකක් ගන්නවා ඔයාට පේනවා නම් හරි. ඔයා ගිහලා බොස්ට කියනවා. හැබැයි a bosu a bribe bag gattekana mara friendly. So they are very close friends. Even if you are telling, so that you know that is not going to work out, because boss will tell to that friend that you told like that, but no action will be taken. So that, therefore you will not complain. But this system has been introduced in most of the companies called whistleblowing. So what's happened there? There is an independent number or an independent communication channel is given. You can put your complaints or you can communicate certain things to that particular person. Your confidentiality will be assured, and also sometime the matter will be raised. The matter will be raised, but who raised the concern will not be documented or will not be concerned. So in that case, it is easy or it is user friendly or it is practical for a people to make the complaints and communicate non-compliances with internal controls, and accordingly company can achieve the objectives in terms of communication. If you read this last paragraph of this one, to overcome this problem, the companies may establish a whistleblowing system to enable employees to report wrongdoing by colleagues or managers in confidence to an independent person. A whistleblowing system is therefore a form of internal control that seeks to reduce the risk that information about wrongdoing by employees will not go unreported or undetected. Right, so that is another thing I want to tell. So these all things we have discussed in summary within very limited given time. So we have only 2 hours to discuss this. So this study text, this section 12 taru 10ක් විතර දාලා තියාගෙන මේක බලන්න, governance and risk. This is highly testable, which I explained you the last part of the webinar, responsibilities of management. Right. So with that we are finishing the theoretical discussion of the internal control. So let's meet with the next webinar mainly to discuss the practical application of internal control. Thank you.